So Kid Cudi testified, and he talked about how P Diddy broke into his house on Christmas, scared his dog, left a Molotov cocktail in his Porsche. At least it didn't blow up, because whoever he hired, they fucked that up too. Or he just had God watching over him. But yeah, it was supposed to blow up. They said they like cut the roof of the Porsche and threw it in, and I guess like the handkerchief part came out, so it didn't blow up. It just kind of singed the car. There's like pictures and everything, but it didn't blow up. So he talked about this whole incident. This was in 2011, and he says because Diddy found out about him and Cassie, and then he got pissed and he went to Capricorn Clark, who was like his assistant, and made her take him to Kid Cudi's house. So then this girl texted Cassie from like a burner phone or something and told Cassie, and I guess she was with Kid Cudi, so that way they knew that P Diddy was at his house. So Kid Cudi just like went straight to his house, texted P Diddy because he had his number from before. It's like a whole mess, okay? But the thing is that this is like a whole conspiracy, because Diddy told Cassie that once he found out about dating Kid Cudi, which was only like a month, while he's dating everyone else, but he told her like, I'm gonna hurt both of you guys and I'm gonna blow up his car. Like he literally told her this, and he said, I'm gonna have someone else do it and I'll make sure that I'm out of the country myself. So he had this whole plan. So he told her all this, and then lo and behold, his car blows up. So she was like, who else could it be? Okay, so he testified. This is week 2, and then we also had a surprise witness that was granted immunity. Very important witness. So follow for the next part, because this is a long story. Okay, so this surprise witness that was given immunity, which is like, wow. George Kaplan, he was Diddy's assistant, and he quit himself, okay, after he witnessed a bunch of different incidents involving him being violent towards women and in general. So he saw that and he was like, I'm out. And he put in his 6-month notice, which, like, good for him. But you can tell he's still kind of being cautious, or he really does think that Diddy's God, because he literally said Diddy is like a god, quote unquote, a god among men. I'm like, what? Unless he really believes it, which, like, he wouldn't have quit then, right? Or, this is what I think, he's just trying to be cautious. He's like, well, in case Diddy gets off, he might, go after these witnesses, including him. So yeah, he's just trying to be cautious, I would think, or even if he doesn't get off, like, he can still send people after anyone who's speaking against him. So he's like trying to kind of play both sides, I guess, which is probably, I don't know if he was like made to testify, as in like maybe there were charges against him. I don't know. It wasn't talked about. But yeah, he was up there like doing this whole like love letter to Diddy. And then we saw another former assistant. This is all week 2. So Diddy's other assistant that testified is called David James, and he's the one that Diddy was speaking to when he said this about Cassie. He said, which again, remember, she was 19 when they met. He was like almost 40. He's 17 years older. So she was a teenager and he was almost 40. So he told this guy that, oh, Cassie, she's young and moldable, quote unquote. I'm like, what? Who says that? And that he has her right where he wants her. That's already like sounds like dangerous. It's psychological manipulation, literally, and that's what he was doing to everyone, not just Cassie. Like intimidation, those kind of techniques. Like he made him take a lie detector test. Like he would go through his browsing history because he thought he was like leaking information or something. Eventually he quit because he was literally fearful for his life. So follow for the next part, because this is a long story. And he did say that he didn't see Diddy beat Cassie, but he would bring her food to the hotel room when she was recovering from like all the bruising and injuries that she had, from Diddy doing all that to her, allegedly. So he witnessed a lot. And this was after he allegedly beat her, after she was talking to some producer guy at the club for too long for Diddy's liking, which she also described in her testimony. This guy also saw one time like a random dude scurry off into the bathroom, like after, I guess, a freak off, so he just saw like Cassie laying there, and then this guy was like some random that he's never seen, like long hair and like big, his words. But there was a blog post back in 2009 about this. So weird about this whole thing where he beat her like in a limo after the club and all this stuff. I can put it right here, so if you want to read it, it's a lot. So his and her stories line up already, even if he didn't witness sexual abuse. And he said he would pick out prescription meds for Diddy, like perks and other stuff that he was abusing, allegedly. And he mentioned that Diddy would meet with like really powerful people, apparently, like who's who, like Obama. There's a lot of people involved. We're not even gonna see all of them on the witness stand, but this thing goes deep. Like when I was reading about all this lore, looking up people, not just whatever is in the trial, but like stuff that's happened in the past with Diddy and different people that talked about him, like it goes deep, okay? And all of them have the same stories, that he's like manipulative, abusive, violent, predictable, like crazy stuff. So some people don't realize how big this actually is, because he knows a lot of people, and it's not just celebrities, like politicians, everything, but he would manipulate everybody pretty much. And that's where the psychologist comes in. So they had Dr. Dawn Hughes come in. She's the one that actually testified in the Johnny Depp case with Amber Heard. So follow for the next part because this is a long story. Okay, so they also had Hughes testify, and she stepped in as a professional psychologist to help with this whole P Diddy trial. She was actually the psychologist in the Johnny Depp case against Amber Heard. So you know she's good. And she explained to the jury, and I mean everyone else who needs to know this, she explained how relationships between the victims and their abusers work. A lot of people don't get it, especially guys. They'd be saying things like, oh, why didn't you just leave? She said it's hard for the victims to leave the physical, sexual, emotional, psychological abuse. So the shame and guilt can cause the victim to be silenced and not tell anyone what's going on, or they can just be silenced by the abuser. Either way, they feel entrapped and they can't leave. So she explained this to everyone who doesn't know these things. And for those people who are just saying, oh, it's just DV, and they're trying to minimize DV, like, oh yeah, okay. You think that it's okay for Diddy to be acting like that with his partner? Like, y'all seen the tape? That is not normal. If you think that's normal in your household, like, you need to reevaluate, because it's not. And it's also not just DV. A lot of people are like, oh, well, you know, it's just domestic violence. No, it's not. So no, it's not just DV. He's on trial for RICO, okay? And if you have questions, you know what? Actually, I'm gonna do an FAQ, like a frequently asked questions video, because I feel like there's a lot of confusing things in this trial. Okay, so if you have any questions at all, like, what is RICO? Why is he on trial? What's going on? Like, who are these witnesses? Like anything at all, I'll answer it. So, like, just leave your questions in the comments and I'll answer it in the video. Another really good witness they had was Cassie's mom, Regina Ventura. Oh my god, this woman did not come to play. They were so scared of her, they didn't even want to cross-examine her. Okay, I'm gonna tell you the next part because this video is getting long, so follow for the next part. It'll be on my page. One of the best testimonies came from Cassie's mom, Regina Ventura, and she did not come to play, okay? The defense was so scared that they didn't even want to cross-examine her after that. They were like, we're not even gonna try. Okay, so remember how I told y'all that Diddy was pissed when he found out that Cassie and Kid Cudi were dating? This is back in 2011. He went to Kid Cudi's house in December 2011 around Christmas. First of all, he broke into his house, scared his dog. Then later, we have the whole Molotov cocktail, but that's in 2012. Then he beat Cassie into a pulp, allegedly, after that, because he was so pissed that she was trying to date someone else than him when he's with all these women. But that's another video. So then she goes to her mom's in Connecticut for Christmas, which then Kid Cudi, I guess, stays with her for Christmas there. And her mom sees these bruises and these beatings for the first time. Like, Cassie hasn't told her for all these years, like, what she's been going through. And she documented it as a good, responsible mom should. She sent an email, you know, with the pictures, tagging Diddy's assistant. That'll be a separate video. So she documented these bruises. And then Diddy, okay, so not only did he have the audacity to send her daughter back to her black and blue, but then he also starts asking them for money. Her parents, he wanted $20K so that way he doesn't release Cassie's sex tapes. He threatened to release one on Christmas and then one later, and also send these tapes to her mom's and dad's jobs, and also then get them fired after that. Like, he is crazy. He just wants to see people beneath him, like, on their knees, basically begging. You know, he probably thought they wouldn't come up with it. So they are such good parents that her mom went out and got a home equity loan. Okay, she was like, I'm not sending my child back to this fucking guy. That's extortion right there. That's RICO. For those of you who are asking, why is it RICO? It's just DV, right? No, it's not. And we'll be doing an FAQ video explaining all of that. So he extorted her parents for money, and they did come up with it, and her mom wired him the money, the $20K. And then even though he returned it, that is not the point. The point is that he extorted them for money. That's like going to a dealership, like stealing a car and then coming back a month later. Oh, you know, never mind. Here you go. It's back. No, you still stole it. No, that's not how it works. The mom literally testified that she was scared for her daughter's safety. That's why she felt like she had to wire the money, because Diddy not only threatened them with the sex tapes, but he actually said he would hurt Cassie and Scott, Kid Cudi. So then fast forward to 2016, her mom goes to visit Cassie in LA, okay, for her birthday. And then she found out that they went out with Diddy for Cassie's birthday. And of course, there was another fight. Diddy takes away Cassie's phone and car. He's always taking away her stuff. And so the mom has had enough. She was like, no. She literally threw hands. She literally testified she was trying to, like, hit him and reach for the phone, and she's had enough. She's like, you are not going to be doing this to my daughter. And the bodyguard had to step in and separate them. I think it was D-Rock, but she did not come to play. I'm telling you, everyone that was in court said the mom was so serious. When she came in court, she was not having it. I'm telling you, the defense was too scared to even cross-examine her. And then another very powerful witness we had was Cassie's former BFF, Kerry Morgan. So follow for the next part because this video is getting too long. Okay, so then Kerry Morgan testified, Cassie's former best friend, and they were friends from 2001 to 2018. That's a long time, but they no longer speak. She said Cassie started dating Diddy in 2007, but before that they were modeling together. She said she met her at Polaroids, which the defense was like, what's Polaroids? Like, trying to be annoying. Like, you know what's Polaroids? You know, when you go on go-sees and they take Polaroids of you, like, come on. They were just trying to ask dumb questions. Anyway, and she said that in her teens, Cassie was making $1 million a year. $1 million. So she was like, yeah, Cassie had her own money. So she held it down. So for those people who are saying like, oh, she's a gold digger, she just got with Diddy for money. No, she didn't need Diddy. She was making $1 million a year as a teenager. Like, she's gorgeous. But she gave all that up for Diddy. I mean, basically, he robbed her of her youth. She met him when she was 19 and they broke up when she was like 32 or something. Like, literally, all of her 20s were just dedicated to him. He robbed her of her youth. Anyway, Kerry said that she would travel around the world with Cassie and Diddy. You know, she saw the drugs. She saw Diddy always yelling at Cassie, like, about her looks and stuff. And she just lost all her confidence. Like, that's just sad to hear. She said he was controlling. He would call Cassie like 50 times in a row. Like, he just sounds crazy. But then there was an altercation. He came to Kerry's house looking for Cassie, allegedly, like asking who Cassie's cheating on him with. She was like, I don't know. So it got to the point where he ended up putting her in a chokehold, okay? Also, he ended up throwing a wooden hanger at her face. It was bad. This seems to be a pattern. Like, do y'all notice that? All of these stories have Diddy either calling 1,000 times in a row or coming over to beat Cassie. Make sure she's not having too much fun without him, wherever she's at. And the second thing a lot of these stories have in common is that everyone says that Diddy's eyes go black. Like, he just turns into a different person, like an animal, before he snaps back. It sounds scary. So after that, she was like, And Cassie had met up with her after that in like a cafe or something and gave her Diddy's money, okay? It was not Cassie's money because some people were confused. She gave her $30K of Diddy's money, okay, to sign an NDA and just not talk about the incident. And she was like, I don't do DV. Like, I cannot be in that situation, which I don't blame her, but it's still sad that, you know, they stopped being friends because of this fucking guy, you know? So even though they don't speak good for her, that she still held it down up there on the stand. Yeah, he's just a mess. There was also a few things that happened. So this is week 2. Like, the Punisher came, Misa. Okay, I'm gonna just have to tell you in the next part because this video is getting long. So follow me for the next one. So they found a whole sex store in Diddy's house when they raided him. There was like stripper heels, a lingerie. We already know about the baby oil, lube, whatever you want. Like, he was prepared to have a freak off anytime, any day. He was ready. Like, a whole store in his house, okay? He had all the supplies ready and he was very particular, especially about the lube. He had to warm it up in the sink. But the candles, he had to have like 1 billion candles. They were very, very pungent, apparently. Even Cassie said like they would buy Glade, like she named the brands and everything. And apparently even the hotels knew that he was gonna make the room a mess afterwards. They would find the candle wax everywhere, you know, baby oil, and we already talked about like the pee, the blood, bodily fluids, God knows what else. Like, they knew to shut the room down after he left. Like, he was on like a special list saying that like afterwards it's not just like, oh, clean the room and it's open for someone else, like, you know, it normally happens. No, it was like, this room needs to be clean, maybe like replace furniture, maybe like replace the carpet, furniture, I don't know. It was like thousands, tens of thousands of dollars of damages every time. A mess. So Diddy would have different escorts for his freak offs. One of them was called the Punisher. Came to testify and he claimed that he, like, in his entire career, he never like penetrated someone, like a lady, a client, whoever. Like, he would get called over kind of like a stripper, you know, for a dance, but he would give them an experience, whatever that is. Like, no penetration, like, I don't know, dry hump, like, I don't know, whatever. But he said that Diddy would just be like in the corner watching. He was naked, like completely naked, but his face was covered, right? And he just had like his eyes pick it out. Like, imagine that sight, like this naked man with just his eyes showing, like a ninja, just sitting in the corner, this naked perverted ninja, and just masturbate watching Cassie with the escort. He was like, yeah, it was kind of weird, and sometimes he couldn't, you know, perform, which I'm like, understandable. Some weirdos watching you from the corner, like, I'd be weird too. It's weird. He even is writing, or already wrote, a book called Freezer Meat, which at first I heard the title and I was like, what does that even mean? But then apparently it's like about ED and like erectile dysfunction, and freezer meat means like as hard as freezer meat. Yeah. So he said it's like to give people, you know, advice about ED and stuff like that. And he said that he did include like stories about Cassie and Diddy in there, but he didn't name them by name, just like a celebrity couple. So, okay, but you know how he found out who Diddy was? This is the funniest shit. So he said he was in the hotel room and, you know, he got called in for this client. He doesn't know who it is. It's supposed to be like this whole secret, right? His face is covered, but then somehow he found out because he turned on the TV. I guess maybe when Diddy and Cassie were like in the other room after, because it's like a presidential suite, and the TV literally read, "Welcome to Hilton, Mr. Combs," or whatever hotel it was. Like, Diddy, you couldn't take that off or something? I don't know. It's a mess. There was a lot of mess during week 2. Misa, one of his like baby mamas, came and she came with like a walker. So follow for the next part because this video is getting too long. A lot of people were like, why is she there? Like, is she supporting Diddy? And she was like, no, I'm supporting my son. But a lot of people are like, Was she paid? Like, what is going on? Like, there's like this whole show that Diddy's trying to put on, like, for his reputation. You know, like, his kids are coming. Like, why would you have your kids listen to all this stuff? You know, either they really don't care because they've seen all this, or he's just using them as like as a prop for a show, you know? But then, yeah, it's just so weird. A lot of people are like asking, like, why would they be there? But then when they're not there, they're just kind of like living life. You know, the girls, like the twins, went to their prom, like nothing happened. I mean, let them live their life, you know, like they're kids. They didn't do, I mean, I don't know, that one son has his own lawsuit, so I don't know. But as far as we know, like, they didn't do anything, so let them be. Let them have their life. Like, what are they supposed to just sit at home and cry, you know? And then people are asking questions about, like, how they're going to support themselves. But then allegedly he's making money with his jet, like, renting it out. I don't know. It's a whole mess. There's a lot of allegations. Who knows? But the government is building a good RICO case so far. So follow for the next week 3.